joining me. If you are returning for yet again another video, you already know that you are appreciated. Everybody, please make sure that you subscribe, turn on your post notifications, like, comment, give this video a little bit of attention. I am so excited about this video. As you guys can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about the 5 different love languages. Really excited to talk about this because, well, I just love love. I just love talking about love, helping people through their relationship, understanding it. And I think understanding the 5 love languages, how you want to receive love, how you give love, whether that's in a romantic relationship, a friendship, family members, whatever the case is super important. Everybody has to know these. So I'm really, really excited to go ahead and just jump in about all the different love languages and why it's so important to know it, how to spot it, all these great details about what these love languages mean for you and your relationships to come. So as I previously mentioned, there are 5 different love languages. For those of you who do not know that or who are not familiar with them, there are different people who think that there are kind of, different philosophies and ways that branch off of these major 5, but there are 5 major love languages to remember. They are words of affirmation, which happens to be mine. That's how I love to receive love. There are acts of service, there is gift giving / receiving, quality time, and physical touch. So all 5 of these are very different, can sometimes be relatable, sometimes people even have to have more than one. It is so important to know how you want to receive love so that way you know how to move forward with your own relationships, romantic or non-romantic. You have to know how you want to receive love. And I will start with that because I think that a lot of people don't really realize that how we typically want to receive love is either from a lack of what we got from our childhood, which is why we have to kind of overcompensate for it in our adulthood, or it's how our parents did love us. There's really no way of telling, when we're grown, unless you have that conversation or you remember how your parents either treated you or didn't treat you. But a lot of the time, those 2 very different things can be the reason in the stem of what your love language is and how you want to receive love. So let's go ahead and talk about words of affirmation. I wanted to start with that one just because it's one that I'm super familiar with. But so words of affirmation are very self-explanatory. That basically just means that you like to hear the good things. So a lot of times people are like, actions speak louder than words, and that is very true in some cases, but as a human being, I like to personally hear, because it's my love language, the compliments or the how much you love me or the how much you care about me or why you value our friendship or our relationship, whatever the case may be. Receiving the words of affirmation to me is a very big sign of love. It shows that you took the time to really consider the things that you like about me, write it down, give me that information, and I receive love that way. So that makes me feel very special, very wanted, and very cared for in that moment. So that's basically what words of affirmation are. Now, if that's not your love language, you may find yourself with somebody who that is their love language, and you have to learn how to adjust the same way with the rest of the 4 love languages, where you have to learn to adjust your feelings and how you give love to somebody, even though it may not be your love language. So if you don't automatically catch on to your significant other or your friends or your family needing these words of affirmation, and they do tell you, it's so important that you make sure you take the time, you are concerned with what makes them feel good, you're considerate when it goes into taking in what makes them feel good and what makes them feel loved. As far as words of affirmation, if they tell you that's their love language, unfortunately, it may be outside of your comfort zone. It may not be in your spectrum. Maybe you're not an emotional person or a vested person when it comes to giving out these feelings, with your words, but that's how your partner or your friend or your family wants to be loved. So you have got to really, really focus in and hone in on how can you show that? Whether it's just a simple text message where you're giving more explanations and details about why you care about this person, or you're complimenting them, or you're making them feel good by verbal actions. It is so important to make sure that you take that in when your partner either shows you or tells you that that is what matters to them. You have got to focus in. Again, with all 5 of these, you've got to focus in on what is important to your partner. So if words or affirmation is how you feel loved, it may not be how your partner loves. So all of it is learning. You know how you want to be loved, you tell your partner that, or your friend, or whatever the case is, and then you also need to learn how to kind of take yourself out of the equation. If your partner's is a different love language, then we're going to talk about figuring that out as well. So to jump into the second one is acts of service. This one is kind of more like the actions part of, the actions speak louder than words, but The acts of service are things not necessarily that you're buying, but the things that you're doing. So whether that's like, doing an oil change for your girlfriend or your friend, or you're cooking for them, or you're cleaning their house, doing their laundry, things like that really show, if it's coming from you, it shows that you love them and shows that you are going out of your way to do something special for them that makes them feel loved. That kind of relieves them. It may help them with their stress, and it may, obviously makes them feel loved. Now, if that is your love language and that's how you like to be loved, again, you have to be able to tell your partners that or show them that. That way they are able to understand that that is exactly what you need to feel loved for your love language. Sorry, got a text message, but it's really important to make sure that you are able to relay that to somebody. You're able to give them that information, to tell them what makes you feel loved. So if acts of service is how you feel loved, having that conversation, or hopefully just being able to catch on to that, your partner will know that those things, cleaning the house before you get home, or things like that in that nature, are super important to you. And when they know that, they should be able to express their love that way. Now, if your partner loves by acts of service, again, it may not be how you necessarily like to receive love, but you have to learn how to give love. It's important to make sure you take yourself out of that equation and give your partner love by acts of service. Do something nice for them. Get their clothes ready in the morning. If it's a friend, show up and call them when they absolutely need you. Show up randomly to just go give them some food or help them be there, be a shoulder to cry on. Something like that to show that you are understanding of how they need to receive love, and make sure you give it to them that way. So the third one is quality time. This happens to be one that I think kind of aligns with a lot of them, because I think especially when you're in a relationship with somebody, you want to spend time with them. Friends, you want to spend time with them. Family, you want to spend time with them. So I think quality time kind of goes hand in hand with a lot of these, but I do know a lot of people who this is their number one love language. They have got to spend quality time with their partner, with their friends, family, and that's normal. That's absolutely okay. So quality time is just that, making sure that you are spending time with this person. If that's how they receive love, it is so important to them that they get to see you, they get to spend time with you, they get to actually physically be in your energy and your aura, and actually get to enjoy your being physically in the reality of time, be there for you. So if that is important to them, obviously make sure you're showing up, make sure you're being there, you're being present in their life. Now, if your partner likes to receive quality time, friend, family, it's important to make sure that you are also doing that. You're providing them with that quality time that matters to them. You've got to make sure that even though it may make you uncomfortable at first, or maybe you're okay with not seeing this person for a set amount of time, maybe you're more of a, inner person where you like to be home, your homebody, whatever the case is, it's important to make sure that your partner feels loved how they need to be loved, which means you've got to spend some time with them, spend some quality time with them. And I also think that doesn't even necessarily just mean hanging out with them, but it also means when you are with them, you're present. You're not in front of your phone, so turn the phone off, or just have a set time where you're not on it so much, especially scrolling through social media. Don't be on the TV, be present. Don't just be sitting there next to your partner or your friend, but actually enjoy them, get to talk to them, spend time with them, and actually be present in the moment. So that's super important to remember when it comes to quality time. The fourth one is being able to receive or give gifts. So a lot of people have this love language as well, where they feel like they are being loved the most when they are absolutely given things, when they're giving gifts or when they're receiving gifts. So that is what makes them feel loved. Now, again, it doesn't necessarily need to be a flat screen TV or diamond earrings, but it could be something small, like you go to a grocery store and you know that your best friend or your partner's favorite food is peaches, so you pick up a bag of peaches. You know what I mean? It's something very small that makes them feel like, oh wow, you actually heard me, you paid attention to me, and you're giving me something, even if it's the smallest little thing, that makes them feel like they are loved. And if your partner wants to be loved like that, I'm not telling you to go out and spend a bag on them, and you don't have to go out and spend all this money giving them gifts and giving them things, but it's important to remember that when maybe they're feeling low, even picking up their favorite food from Chipotle, maybe that's what makes them feel good. Or, on their birthdays and on Christmas, they may not be the type of person who wants you to hand make stuff or bake them cookies, but maybe maybe that's when you show up and you give them a lot of gifts and things that make them feel loved. Again, I'm not telling you to go out and spend thousands of dollars on your partner, but if that's their love language, it's important to remember that is what makes them feel loved. So you have got to kind of figure out how you're able to do that. Again, not spending an arm and a leg, but figuring out exactly how to make your partner feel loved by providing a gift. And number 5, which is the last one, is physical touch. Now, this does not necessarily mean just having sex. I'm not telling you that your partner just wants to have sex with you to feel loved, okay? Not realistic. But what I am saying is with physical touch, that can be something as far as even just kissing or holding hands or foot massages. You know what? I love foot massages, so I understand the whole physical touch. Maybe it's rubbing your head, or maybe, it's rubbing your shoulders. Whatever the case is, that is a love language, and people tend to really, really need that. So a physical touch by anybody, whether it's a friend, whether it's a hug, or, a relationship where you're actually being able to cuddle and lay down and enjoy yourself, is a love language. And it's important to know that if that is your love language, you may end up being with somebody who that's not theirs. So the whole physical and affectionate thing, it may not necessarily be their thing. So you have to be able to, kind of be willing to have those conversations to just set those healthy alignments and those boundaries as far as where does that physical touch lie. Now, if your partner needs the physical touch, again, obviously try to figure out how can you step outside of your comfort zone just a little bit to make sure that your partner feels loved. Because clearly that physical touch is super important to them and makes them feel cared for, it makes them feel loved. So you do have to kind of figure out, with that one especially, because I do know some people are not very affectionate when it comes to physically. You have to figure out how to be able to work with your partner when it comes to loving them the way that they need to be loved physically. Again, guys, I'm not just saying to only have sex with your partner when you want to make them feel loved, because that's where we go completely left field, and that's wrong. If your partner's love language is physical touch, figure out what makes them feel happy, what makes them feel connected to you physically, and that's what you need to be able to kind of work through and be able to do that for them to make them feel loved. Now, as I said, in all 5 of these, I kind of just blurbed off a little bit, it is really important to know that you may end up with somebody who does not have the same love language as you. And that's actually pretty normal. A lot of the time you're not necessarily going to match up with somebody who has the exact same love language as you. Whether that's in a romantic relationship or a friendship or even your family, you just don't know. And everybody has completely different love languages, how they like to be loved and how they give love. For example, I know for me, I love to receive love by words of affirmation. That makes me feel loved. However, even though I do a lot of words of affirmation, obviously I talk, my way of giving love is more of like gift giving and acts of service. I like to do things and provide things and give things for people. So I receive and I want to, I receive and I give love completely different. And that's pretty normal as well. So a lot of the time, one of the biggest things that you have to understand when you're going into a new relationship, whatever that may be, is that you may not match up perfectly with your love languages. So again, your partner may love differently, they may receive love differently than you do. But if you want to remain in that relationship, you have absolutely got to figure out a way to adjust your love languages. Go outside of your comfort zone a little bit and understand that, wow, this makes my friend or my family or my boyfriend or girlfriend feel amazing. This makes them feel loved. So regardless of how I feel about it, I really need to figure out a way to kind of coordinate making them feel loved, how they need to feel loved. Exactly like, hopefully, the same way they are doing it for you. I'm not telling you to go out on a limb and completely go out of your comfort zone, but make sure that you do something enough to make your partner feel like you hear them, you see them, and that you are trying to love them the way that they need to be loved. There are so many different ways that you can give somebody love, whether that is through these love languages. There's different, like I broke it down, physical touch, there's different ways you can do that. There's different ways you can spend quality time, different ways you can do all of these different types of things when it comes to the love languages. So you don't necessarily need to go completely out of your comfort zone, but it is important to make sure you hear and you understand and you give love the way that you want to give love. Again, there are so many different reasons why we give and receive love the way that we do. That's not what this video is about. I just wanted to really go over the love languages, what they mean, and why it is so important to make sure you adjust to your partner. Because if you want to remain in that relationship, you've got to make your partner feel loved. Even if it's not how you feel loved, it's what makes them happy. It's what makes them feel loved. And that's the whole point of a relationship. You want to make that person feel great. And hopefully they reciprocate that same energy for you as well. I talked a lot in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, but I really just love this topic. I love talking about the love languages. I think they're super fun. There's so much research you can do to kind of get into it a little bit more in detail, find out way more about yourself, why you feel this way, find out more about your partner, how to give them the love if you don't understand. And as always, if you need anything, I am here. I hope that you guys always remember how appreciated you are, how loved you are heard, you are seen, you are cared for, and you matter deeply to this world. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, I love you guys. I just feel lovey now that I've done this video. So I love you, I appreciate all the support. Again, make sure you subscribe, turn on your post notifications, share the videos, comment if you have anything to say. I would be interested in knowing, what is your love language? How do you like to receive love? How do you give love? And have you ever had a difficult time where you just couldn't figure out how to match it up in a relationship? I really am interested in hearing your guys' opinions, so drop some comments below. I will talk to you guys next time, and have a fantastic week.